William and Kristen Schumacher, thank you for being on my show.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
You know, I want to clear one thing up right from the beginning. You're probably used to this. I am going to sound like one of your greatest fans. But so far,
we appreciate that.
So far, we have only communicated very briefly via email to set up this call.
Yes.
And so, you know, I'm not paid by you guys to talk like this. I'm a big fan of your product. And it's funny because I saw you on Shark Tank, as I'm sure a lot of people have. And my curiosity immediately went up. I went online, I ordered some of your products, and I experienced, can I say this early? The amazing poop. We're going to talk about the amazing poop on this show. That might even be the title of our show, The Amazing Poop.
Yes, we might be one of the few food makers in the world who are excited to talk about amazing poop. So that's fair game.
All right. And that was probably a month ago, and I'm maybe a little longer, and I'm already, you know, definitely one of your customers, and I have it on an auto ship. I have a large family, so we're getting delivered to 8 loaves every 2 weeks, and it just disappears. Absolutely disappears. So today we're talking about bread, but not really. I don't think this is bread. I think it looks like bread. It eats like bread.
You're on to us.
Yeah. So before we get into that too much, tell me a little bit about you, William and Kristen. How did you get into this whole bread replacement and Uprising Food?
Yeah. So the story with Uprising begins with this big idea that we believe the food system is fundamentally broken, right? And so for us, we often say that the why was what we started with before the what. And what we care the most about is finding a way to help people get healthy at scale. Because right now we are absolutely sick at scale as a society. We're spending over $3 trillion a year on medical care, and a lot of which is directed towards diseases of lifestyle. Now, when we took a step back and said, hey, we see all these people that are sick around us, we want to help. Why are they sick? What is missing in this equation? There's a lot of great information out there. Now, obviously, there's information that you got to sift through, but it's not just information, and a lot of new information has come out. So as we kept digging in, we're like, why? Well, we said, you don't have to go further than the inner aisles of the grocery store, because the inner aisles where all the major staple foods are that people come together around, that they build their lunches around, that they feed their family with, those foods are built on ingredient profiles and built on formulas and recipes that are totally outdated. They're highly industrialized, highly scaled, highly preserved. And a lot of them were, had totally good intentions back in the 1950s and 60s when we just needed to feed people at scale. And we didn't realize, what was going to be the impact of all these ingredients that we came up with for breads and chips and pastas, etc. And what was going to be the impact of driving down the cost of those particular crops in the way that we did it. And so, long story short, here at Uprising, we said we want to make a difference for people. And we want to tackle this big, hairy problem of the major staple foods that need to be upgraded to a level where people are going to get their health back. They're going to have power over their health, and they're also going to love it.
Yeah. Well, I can absolutely appreciate that. I definitely love the product. One of the things you said in talking about what's in the inner aisles, you mentioned highly preserved. And I don't think people realize that, preservatives are forms of antibiotics. They are against life. People say the purpose is to make the food last longer. The purpose is to kill. It is there to kill microbes, prevent them from living in the food, so the food seemingly lasts longer. And, when you eat it, does it know to stop killing? Because you're going to put it in this very delicate microbiome. So,
yes.
How many preservatives are in your bread?
Absolutely
None.
zero.
Yeah, and you know, like you say, that's what you find in the center aisles of the grocery store. I don't think we would have found Jesus shopping in the center aisles of the grocery store. You know, if you go back a couple thousand years, these chemicals, the artificial colors, flavors, preservatives, and you know, these things didn't exist.
Exactly.
The things that the pesticides, the herbicides, and fungicides used, it wasn't in the food. People ate real food. You know, I like what
Yes.
Jordan Rubin, I don't know if you heard of him, he wrote a book called The Maker's Diet. And he
Yep.
liked to look at food from 3 perspectives. And I see that you are seemingly on this same path. He would see what the scriptures have to say about it, but he would also see what science has to say about it. And then look at traditionally, what did people eat?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We sometimes we say that we are like Ezekiel bread 2.0. Because you know, if Ezekiel bread was the Old Testament, we would be the New Testament. Because you know, we brought together science that has stood the test of time. You know, and we are working at the fundamentals of gut health. So prebiotic fiber. Well, which fiber? Not all fibers are created equal. We pick psyllium husk for a reason. We do things in our process of baking to bring out the properties of psyllium husk that actually do something in your body when they interact with your gut microbiota. And then we added on things that, okay, in the last, let's say, few decades have really come to light, even though it's kind of rediscovering the old ways, which is, hey, we wanted to bring nuts, seeds, fiber. We want to bring a low carb profile that's not going to spike up your blood sugar. We wanted to bring an adequate amount of protein, but not over protein, what you're putting in your body, and really bring a harmonious balance together such that your body can work with what's going into it, not against it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And let's talk more about the ingredients, because you mentioned seeds. What kind of seeds do we have in the bread?
Yeah, so we do flaxseed is the seed that we have. So our bread is made of 8 ingredients. We have almond flour, golden flax, psyllium husk, apple cider vinegar, water, salt, baking powder. That's it.
Well, now I don't need you anymore. I could just go make my own, right?
Be very hard.
Yes, that would be extremely hard. Because what a lot of people don't realize until they've tried to start to bake with these types of ingredients, just how hard it is to bake with those ingredients in a way that it tastes good and you get a final product that actually does the jobs that you want your food to do. And one of the things that sets our product apart is actually the function of the product, the strength and the toastability of a slice of bread, or the strength and the scoopability of our bread chips. Those things are very critical if you want to hold a sandwich together, if you want to scoop guacamole or hummus, and you don't want to, you know, end up with a bunch of like quasi bread-like pieces in your hand. Well, in order to do that, you're trying to get these natural ingredients to be strong like gluten is. Gluten is a very, very strong protein when it binds. And when you remove that from the equation, now you're trying to get your bread to, you know, develop a crumb, a strength that it can hold things. And that's extremely hard to do. And it took us months and months and months to figure out how to do Uprising's products the way that we do them. And our co-founders, who are not on this call today, are the baking side of the equation. These people are professional bread makers in Cincinnati, Ohio, where you're based. They do artisan, like work of art, gluten-based breads. So it took them months and months and months to figure out, how are we going to get something that is going to please the palate and do all the jobs that we would expect, you know, normal gluten bread to do, but with these types of ingredients. So long story short, extremely hard to do, even though it's a very short list of ingredients.
And I agree with you. I've probably made, over 1,000 loaves of bread and,
Okay.
up to date. I stopped making it some time ago, but, we would grind our own grains at the time that we were using. And initially we would add gluten in it before we, knew how challenging it might be to people's health. And as we started taking that out, the bread would fall apart.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to have a good, that when they throw the pizza dough up in the air and it, goes like this and then comes back together.
Yes.
That's gluten.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
But with your bread this morning, it's funny, you mentioned guacamole. I had guacamole toast. And for me, when I slice your loaf, I'm getting about 12 slices per loaf. So it's very, very thin, but very, very durable, and yes, has the nice spongy texture that you like out of bread. Unless you toast it, then it's a little crispy. So it's amazing. And when I had used too many flax seeds, I might have a problem getting it to bake in the center of the loaf. You have a very consistent throughout. So let's talk more about the ingredients. The flaxseed, obviously, nice healthy oils, high omega-3 fatty acids, essential fatty acids, great for brain support, cardiovascular support, and things like that. And also more fiber in addition to the psyllium husk coming from the flaxseed. That is so prebiotic. You use the prebiotic word. What is a prebiotic?
So prebiotic is essentially it's something that is going to go in the body, and then the good gut bugs are going to be able to actually proliferate off of it. So they're going to be able to use it to create life for them. And so, you could have fiber that is just passes through, okay, and just is moving things through your body, is not digestible. Prebiotics are prebiotic fiber is digestible by the gut bacteria. And that is critical because those gut bacteria then produce short chain fatty acids and all sorts of then a chain reaction of events that happen in the body. So we believe that it's really, really critical to get prebiotic fiber into the body and enough of it so that your good guys are basically going to have a fighting chance. Because if they've got a fighting chance, then they can kind of stave off and proliferate more than the bad gut bacteria, which oftentimes the current standard American diet will disproportionately help the bad guys, which then creates a bunch of, poor chain reactions in the body. So we really believe that having enough prebiotic fiber in your body and making that simple, accessible, and tasty in the form of bread and chips gives people like a game changer, leg up in this fight to, fuel their body properly.
I completely agree. A lot of people don't realize that when we eat, we are really feeding them. They are the ones that consume, and in this case, when they're eating the fiber, it's food for them, and they're excreting this, slimy sludge from the food that we eat and prepare for them. And from that, the roots of our intestines sink into that slime that they create. And that's where our body soaks up the nutrients, like a tree soaking up nutrients from the soil. Our intestines are soaking up the nutrients from their byproducts. So when we think about that, we're actually eating to feed them. We're chewing our food to prepare it for them. And then they do the digesting. We chew it up, we mesh it up, and we get it ready for them. They actually digest our food for us.
Yes.
I've heard it said that we're 80% microbiome, 20% human cells.
Yes, exactly.
We're a shell for them. It's all about them.
Yes, which is a very different way of thinking about what your food is doing and really understanding what's going on in your body. And one of the downsides to, this science that people are now becoming aware of is it's harder for people to see the science happening, right? It's almost invisible because it's inside your body, but that's where it's really going down. It's very easy to see yourself lose weight, right? You can step on the scale, you can see the numbers come down, but there's a lot of ways to lose weight that don't equal I have good long-term health, right?
Sure.
But it's just so easy to measure. And, a lot of us are just so trained to measure everything. And like, if I don't see a number moving, then it's not working, etc. And what is critical that we think is we got to illuminate what's really going on inside people's bodies. Because like you said, there is living organisms and a whole lot of them inside of you. And you're actually trying to feed them. You're trying to digest your food, take in food, digest that food, and feed them in such a way that they start to work with your body better. That is a whole different way of eating versus like, okay, how do I lose weight today? Oh, yeah. I mean this and it's doing this. No. There's this whole crew of, gut microbiota in there that are like, wait, we got something to say about this.
Yeah. And it's going to affect, your energy levels, your digestion, your thought processes. People don't realize that even addictions can be under the influence of the microbiome. As we change our perspective and we start feeding them, nurturing them, avoiding the chemicals that are going to kill them off, such as the preservatives, the chlorinated water, and all of the, chemicals that are put into the food. We start eating real food, nurturing them, things change. And you can, sometimes see it in your skin as your gut is getting healthier. Some people have great skin but the insides are raw and inflamed.
Yes.
There's so many gut disease names, from acid reflux and GERD and dysbiosis and gastritis, Crohn's, celiac, irritable bowel, inflammatory bowel, and so many skin conditions. And if we just nurtured the gut flora with real food and fiber, which not only feeds but cleanses and gets things moving, which we're going to talk more about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about some of the other ingredients, though. I think one of them was apple cider vinegar.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And why that?
So, one, apple cider vinegar has ton of health benefits. A lot of people are aware of how good apple cider vinegar is. However, for us, it's also very critical for creating the taste of the product. And for us, we want a mild, nutty sourdough taste. Mm-hmm. And that's really critical. And we talk about taste so much because it is so important at the end of the day to get people in a position where they can actually have a health transformation. Because if it doesn't taste good, nobody's sticking to it. That's just the way it works. Mm-hmm. And so we see our role as taking the science of what's going to make you healthy and making it taste fantastic. And so a lot of things like, we're thinking, okay, how do we get this so that people actually want it so they can get their health? And so apple cider vinegar helps us achieve that, that mild, nutty sourdough flavor. And it obviously has tons of health benefits. And our fundamental premise behind our ingredients is we want to give you the best of the best. And so when we're out there looking for different vinegars we can use, different almonds we can use, different fibers we can use, we're going to pick what is the best. And then we're going to start there.
Yeah. And why almond flour?
So almond flour is, there's a lot of different nut flours that you can try if you go down a gluten-free or low-carb baking path. We, again, landed on almond flour as the nut that gave us the best taste profile.
It is
doesn't necessarily do anything magical from a health perspective. It's an important part of how we bring all the ingredients together. And over time, we'll probably have other types of nut flours in our products that are coming down the road. But it's a great ingredient for, healthy ingredient that, nothing scary with it. but something that gives us a fantastic taste profile, helps bring out that nutty flavor, but not too much and that it doesn't, turn you off. So it really helps us balance that product.
Yeah, it is delicious. Definitely a good nutty, slightly, sourdough type of taste. Absolutely love it. Was there anything on, the Shark Tank episode was definitely interesting. There were some parts, I'm watching it, never heard of you guys or anything like that. And they said things and I wanted to jump in and say, but, if you only knew this, what do you think they left out of that episode that you wish was aired on TV or that you didn't have a chance to say?
Great question. I'll let you take this one.
I mean, they definitely left a lot out. I think what people obviously don't see is we're in there for an hour pitching our products to them, and then they cut it down to 10 minutes. So there was so much that just didn't air. I think in terms of our product, it really was the ingredients, all of the key benefits. We didn't really get, well, we did. We tried to, in the tank, talk about the science and the importance of like all of our ingredients, everything we're talking to you about now, none of that aired, which we totally understand. I mean, they wanted to come at us as just as investors for our profitability. But overall, we didn't get to share that with America, unfortunately. And then the other thing that you guys didn't get to see either was we did bring one of our new products that's coming next year or the year to follow, which is going to be a bagel. So that was actually under the shark seats, which we were really excited to share because we wanted people to know that we are evolving as a brand. Obviously, we started with bread, which William already explained, and then we moved into chips because we wanted consumers to have that crunch. And then we just wanted people to know, hey, like we're innovating, we're expanding. This is why. So
yes,
you didn't get to see that either.
Yes. Yeah. We, like Kristen said, the messages that didn't get out there are exactly what we're talking about now. It's the deep dive on the health and what these ingredients really do. And especially what does our workhorse ingredient, psyllium husk, do? Psyllium husk, people can go on PubMed right now and see that there is over 1,000 published studies on psyllium husk. This thing has been studied over and over and over by researchers. And we know that psyllium husk affects appetite control, affects cholesterol positively, affects blood sugar stability, affects major health things that folks are dealing with. Now, we may not know all the mechanisms of action. That might be coming out now with the latest and greatest microbiome research. It's probably what's happening at the prebiotic interaction with, the gut microbiome level. However, we didn't really get to talk about that. And that is a very, very, very important ingredient in this product. And until we came along, really the only way to get psyllium husk was through powders.
Yeah.
Powder in water, mix it up, try to drink that down. That is not enjoyable. Okay. Furthermore, people don't realize just how much of psyllium husk or prebiotic fiber you really need to get to on a daily basis in order to start seeing the benefits. And 1 tablespoon in a glass of water is not going to do much. It'll do a little bit, but it's not going to do much. And so one of the things that makes us special is we bring extremely high amounts of psyllium husk and extremely high amounts of fiber into just a slice or just a serving of chips. So with 2 to 3 slices or servings of chips with Uprising, you're getting enough psyllium husk and prebiotic fiber to meet your minimums, which 95% of people are not meeting their minimums in America. And of course, it's because it's not enjoyable. There's nobody's done it in a way that it's like, wow, I actually look forward to eating my fiber. I look forward to getting prebiotic fiber in my body. I look forward to psyllium husk. And so that message didn't make it through, unfortunately, which is okay, because this is great to have conversations like this where we can explain and go deeper around what's really going on inside these products? Why are these ingredients there? The other message that I don't think got out there is what ingredients are not in there. Okay. Because the first thing that we think about when we're formulating the product, or if we were like to talk to somebody about the health and what's coming in their body, is like, well, let's first look at all the ingredients that are coming into your body. If you have that list, there's probably a big list of those that you want to remove because they do damage. And so first get out all the inflammatory ingredients, the preservatives, the calcium propionate, which is a very common preservative that bakers use in order to extend shelf life. We want to get all that stuff out of there because it creates inflammation. It works against what the body is trying to do. And so what's not in your product is arguably as important as what is in your product. But there's no list on the back of your package that says, here's what's not in there. So, that's really important for folks to know, like, what ingredients are not in our product that are in other products out there. And then what do we put in, which creates all the benefits for folks.
Yeah. You recommend that it be kept in the freezer, sliced beforehand, and that makes sense to me too. Once you take it out of the freezer, how long are you keeping it in the refrigerator for?
So you can keep it in the refrigerator for 1 to 4 weeks, 3 to 7 days on the counter. Most people will go through a loaf a week. If they're living by themselves, or obviously if, it's a family like yours, you can go through significantly more. And so most people, they take 2 loaves, they put them in the refrigerator, they work through one. And then when they get to that second one, they take another out of the freezer and they put it in the fridge and they just go from there.
Okay, I'm not going to freeze mine anymore. It's just going to stay in the fridge. I haven't tried that yet, so I haven't come to an end of the shelf life in the fridge yet. I haven't noticed any change in it. It just always seems fresh and good. Yeah, when it comes to recipes, I'll tell you what I've tried so far. I've had toast. I like putting butter or ghee on it. I like dunking it in olive oil. My kids love French toast.
Yep.
What are some of your favorite ways to eat it?
I love making a grilled cheese. That's my absolute favorite. I also love French toast. I'm also pretty simple though too. I like it just toasted with butter and some monk fruit on top. So those are some of my favorites, but we've tried so many different things, like making pizzas out of it. That's a good one too. But definitely for me, number one is grilled cheese.
Yes. Yep. On the bread side of things, I absolutely love the monk fruit and cinnamon with Kerrygold grass-fed butter, nice toasted slice. For me, that takes me back to childhood, where it's like, you got the cinnamon sugar bear type of effect, and putting that on the toast, and it's just it's a great combination of flavors. And our bread is such a great toasting bread.
Yeah.
It has a nice crispy outer and then a soft chewy inner. And so toast is what we try to encourage people to do. Then the other thing on the chip side of the equation, a recipe that I would consider it more of maybe less of a recipe and just more of a way of using the chips, especially for children or just like adults who want to eat like children on the go. You can make little Lunchables out of the chips, because it's like a little miniature bread
sandwich. Yeah.
Like a little miniature sandwich. You can put a little cheese, little meat, put that all together. And then you've got a little sandwich on the go type thing.
For the chips, I personally like hummus, and we make our own hummus. We'll sprout some chickpeas and then throw them in the Vitamix with the tamper and some garlic and some lemon juice, and we'll just throw in some sesame seeds, make our own tahini, in the blender.
Yes.
With it, and
Amazing.
Those things, you can make it so thick in the Vitamix with the tamper, and those they don't break. You just scoop like
Bingo. Scoop strength is very important.
Yeah.
You don't want a flimsy tortilla chip that's going to break as soon as you try to go for all that nutrition in those dips. And so, that was really important to us when we created the chip was like, how can we make this strong enough that people,
durable.
Durable, people can really scoop with it.
Yeah. So my experience with the bread. Oh, first, one thing that I heard on Shark Tank, where being a former bread maker that used a whole lot of flaxseed, they said, they were talking about price point and, it's such a small loaf. And my thought was, it probably weighs, 3 times as much of a regular slice, a slice by slice comparison, because it's a much more dense. And that is definitely the case because, I'm slicing it thin and and you have a satisfaction that towers over plain bread. I don't consider it bread. I consider it a functional food. And it's something there that, I am consuming for one, because it's satisfying. It's not a lot of calorie. I'm not going to get the sugar spike. I like keeping, the sugar levels nice and even keel, and it really seems to help me with that. I already had good bowel movements. We're going to talk about poop. A lot of my podcasts, by the way, are about poop. We all about probiotics and coffee enemas or whatever. There's a whole lot of poop on my podcast, so we're going to talk about it here. Don't worry, the listeners are already used to it.
Okay.
I already, have impressive bowel function. Things move regularly. People that go, I don't understand that people that have a bowel movement, once a day or not even once a day. I don't understand that. Things should be moving regularly. I didn't think things could get better. And how much bread are you eating? How much of the Uprising bread are you eating a day?
I usually eat 3 to 4 servings.
Okay. Okay. So I'm not necessarily going overboard because I can easily, eat through even half a loaf in a day or even more.
Oh, yeah.
It's that enjoyable. Boy, I feel funny talking about it, but I'll just say my early AM bowel movement, I experienced the amazing poop. Or is it a poo? Is it amazing poo? What's the proper terminology?
We call it the perfect poo.
Yeah.
Perfect poo.
Yes.
But I was wrong. I didn't actually experience the perfect poo because a couple hours later, I trumped it.
Ah!
I said, okay, wait a second. What is going on here?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's one of those things, you think things are as good as they can be until you experience better and you say, oh my goodness, this is definitely a different experience. How'd you come up with the term perfect poo?
So we actually came up with that because of the reports that we kept getting back from early customers. Yeah. The wink, wink, nod, nod, like after 3 days, you won't believe what happened. And we also, of course, tested all of this on ourselves. And out of the gate, I didn't eat 3 to 4 slices. So I wasn't getting up to that level. And then after we started seeing people, and we heard reports from customers who had serious gut issues, like medical issues, email us and say, I started your product. You will not believe what happened. I've talked to my doctor about this, like all sorts of stuff. And we said, whoa. This sounds like something, when you get up to a certain level, this sounds like something extra happens. So of course, we all being biohackers and self-experimenters decided to test on ourselves. And we experienced the perfect poo. And they were like, okay, we need a way to name this so that people can remember this and go after it. And it's like you said, like once you've experienced it, it is undeniable. And then you really get to a point where you're like, I don't want to go back, because once you have fantastic, perfect poo level digestion, you don't want to go back to a world of anything less than that. And so we try to encourage people, like, try to at least experience this once, because it will blow your mind. And
how might I describe it a different way? hang on a second, guys, I'll catch up with you. I just have to go to the bathroom really quick. And then you come out and they're like, oh, you only had to pee? No. Emptied everything out. Exactly. Like it's supposed to be, you know. Yeah, it is different. Things get moving.
Yes.
Tell us how, for people that are hearing this saying, I might want to try this and see what they're talking about. And I'm going to say, people, if you should order their bread, go in a little more and eat more than you think to have this experience. Don't make, don't have a slice a day, but that, first couple days, have 2, 3, maybe even 4 slices and see what it does, and drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
It is going to satisfy you tremendously. It's going to soak up the liquids that you drink with it. It's going to feed your microbiome. It's going to cleanse your intestines, and it's going to stimulate peristalsis. Things are going to get moving in a good way. I'm certain of it. I can't make that promise for everybody. Some people don't tolerate fiber because they haven't had enough up to this point in their lives. But the majority of the people are going to have a good experience with your products. Where do they get it from?
So super simple. We ship to every single doorstep in the US. So you just come to uprisingfood.com and we will take care of you. If you happen to live in the Midwest near a grocery store called Meijer, then you can walk into a Meijer, walk down to their chip section, and find our chips. The bread is currently only available online, uprisingfood.com. We also ship the chips. So if it's more convenient for you to go there, fantastic. If you want to go to Meijer, support us there, fantastic as well. Whatever is most convenient for folks. And it's really important to know, like, we are like basically a modern farm market at digital scale. Okay. So we are like an artisan bakery in downtown Detroit, and we bake all of the bread for the orders fresh throughout the week. And then we ship it all on Mondays. So if you order on Tuesday, you're going to have to wait a couple days while we fire everything up. Everything's fresh. So, and then we will send it out to you on Mondays. If you become a loyal subscriber, we always plan your orders in advance. So you'll never have disruptions with your orders. New customers, sometimes they have to wait in line. Like when we had the large Shark Tank spike, it took us a while to get through some of those orders. But we really want to take care of people just like the farm market style. So we have a customer service team. If you have any questions, they love to answer emails. And like you said, if you do order from us, if you get your first bundle, we would much rather you start by upping the amount of the product in your body, even if it lasts a little bit less that first time, so that you can experience what we're talking about here out of the gate. We have a 3-day toast cleanse that we published on our website so that people can follow a step-by-step guide, which it also helps people bring in fermented foods and some oils and some spices that are all curated and designed to really supercharge your gut in 3 days, so that people are like, oh, that's what eating clean, eating with best of the best gut health foods and enough fiber to really do something feels like and tastes like. So if people order from us, we encourage you, check out the Toast Cleanse Guide. Do that on your first time you order the product from us, and then decide, okay, how much of this do I want to eat on a daily basis? What works for my body? Like you said, if people haven't had, or they've been very, very fiber deficient for a long time, they might need to start with a little less and kind of work their way up. But you'll know pretty fast, like, okay, my body is starting to work better with a little more, a little more, a little more. But we'd rather you start a little higher and then come down, and that's totally fine, than not get enough to really see what it can do inside your body.
We're similar in our products. We have an aloe vera product, which is it's a raw, hand filleted, run through a grinder and put in the freezer. It's never been pasteurized, never been filtered, no preservatives. And people ask me, how much should I have a day?
Yeah.
Start off what I call front end loading. Have more on the front end so that you know what it's going to do for you, and then adjust your intake. And I find it probably the same thing with your products. Absolutely wonderful. I love what you guys are doing. I'm glad to hear that you're caught up with the growth.
Yes.
You're keeping up.
Oh, yes.
I like to ask my guests, what's a typical day look like for you? But I would imagine your answer is very different now than just a couple months ago.
Yes, we've definitely had a huge influx of new customers. So we are super grateful for that opportunity to get the word out there on Uprising, even though we didn't get a deal and that was a bummer. But just we've seen so many awesome new customers come to the brand. We were working around the clock both to prepare and get ready for all the new people who are going to come, as well as work through that big spike of people coming in. And so, yeah, we're cranking along. We're preparing for holidays. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to raise awareness to, hey, you can make stuffing with this bread, and it is fantastic. We had a actual chef work with us to create a perfectly balanced Uprising stuffing recipe, and literally you need no disclaimers. You don't even tell anybody that it's healthy. Like, you can just take it to Thanksgiving and not say a word. It's just Uprising stuffing recipe, and you're like, and people will be like, wow, this is fantastic. Kristen has me like re-warm it up for her the next day and, put it back on the cast iron because it's so good. We don't want any of it to go to waste.
Well, the people that come and have Thanksgiving dinner with you, they're going to be back next year for sure, because they're going to experience the perfect poo.
Yes.
And they're going to say, I remember that was the first Thanksgiving ever where I actually felt better the next day.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Bingo. Exactly.
I'm going to have to pick your brain eventually too. We'll wrap this up, but your technology is amazing. I'm, subscribed, and, there's a little hesitancy when you do a subscription because you're afraid that things are just going to keep on coming faster than you use it. But I get an email reminding me and giving me the option to change when it's sent. I get a text message reminding me and giving me an opportunity to change. It is so easy to manage. And I have changed my subscription from those. I doubled up. I said, once a month is not going to do it. I better go every 2 weeks. It was very easy to change. So I commend you for that. I've been in the nutrition business direct to consumer for a long time. And you guys have me so trumped on the technology. I need a lesson from you. So
we really appreciate that, and we want people to have the ease of what they might remember, might have experienced at like a farm market, but we're digital, right? So we want to really take care of you, make your life easier, use technology for good, use it for what it's good at. And in ways that are hopefully personal and thoughtful, and just try to take friction out of the experience. We want to be forward facing, but use technology to achieve that and not hide behind the technology. So we love when people text us back, email us back, anything. We're always like they're trying to improve it, and step by step we keep making it better and better and better. Yeah. And so we're glad that you're seeing the fruits of our labor.
Yeah, it shows that you're paying attention and practicing excellence in everything you do.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so again, it was uprising-something.com.
Food.com.
Uprisingfood.com. I encourage our listeners, check them out and place an order. I'm sure you'll have the similar experience that I had, and absolutely love it. Don't think of it as bread. It's a functional food. So good for you. Any last nuggets you want to share?
We're just thankful for the opportunity.
Yeah.
It takes a village to get where we're trying to go. We need a lot of people to get behind Uprising, so that we can get these products to the scale where all Americans can have access to them. So, the people who join us early, not only are you going to be improving your health, but you're also helping us build up the company so that we can then do more products for more people, new price points, get better contracts on our very expensive ingredients. So anything that folks can do to help us, even if, right now the product's not for them, no problem. If you have a friend that the product is for, let them know. And anything that folks do to help us out, it really goes a long way. We're a small business trying to take on absolutely mammoth giants of the food industry. So we appreciate any and all help, social follows, just checking out, word of mouth, all of that is fantastic. We really appreciate it.
All right. Awesome. Hey, thank you for being on the Dr. Haley Show. Thank you, William. Thank you, Kristen, for all you do. I just love you guys. I love your products. And,
Thank you.
I'm so thankful for you.
Thanks for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Dr. Haley.
All right. Do be well.